One of the biggest party weekends is coming up in the Miami Valley. Many will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day all weekend long since the holiday falls on Sunday. This is the first major holiday since Dayton City Commission passed the nuisance party law a little over 2 weeks ago. Jenna Lee Bork has how the university is now preparing for the weekend. Jenna Lee.
Yeah, Elise, one UD student tells me they believe that the university is asking students to think about being responsible and safe before this big weekend.
They definitely make sure that all the students are safe. We get emails whenever anything happens on campus, so they've definitely reached out about upcoming weekend to make sure we know about everything.
Spring is in the air, and one of the holidays that welcomes in the warmer weather is happening this weekend. St. Patrick's Day is Sunday, and there will be celebrations throughout the city. Parties around the University of Dayton will be attracting people to the area. UD is preparing students by communicating safety tips, student expectations for gatherings and celebrations, and potential consequences of breaking the law or the university's code of conduct. Part of the statement I received today from the school says, quote, "We also have made our students aware of the City of Dayton's recently enacted nuisance party ordinance and what they should consider when hosting or attending social gatherings in our student neighborhood or elsewhere in the city." UD student Lizzie Edwards thinks the nuisance party law could help.
I definitely do think it'll help a lot with students in the neighborhood. It is, a lot of times from what I've heard, is the people that are causing a lot of the ruckus are outside of the UD community, so I think that'll also keep that under control as well.
I also reached out to the Dayton Police Department to learn more about the legislation. It tells me in a statement the ordinance is for the whole city all the time, but it can help during holidays. As for consequences, it reads, quote, "If someone were to rent a property and then throw a party that becomes unruly, that person or persons can now be charged with a minor misdemeanor with escalating penalties for multiple offenses within a year of one another." The statement goes on to say if a social gathering does become a nuisance party and police tell them to break it up, anyone who refuses can be charged with a fourth-degree misdemeanor. Edwards agrees that safety is key.
It's really important to keep the campus safe and keep the first responders safe as well. I know that campus has UD EMS, which is also really important. Students helping other students, so keeping our fellow students safe and keeping the police that also keep Dayton as a whole safe is very important.
UD says it will continue to be clear about its expectations for its students. They're expected to be good citizens, neighbors, and respectful of law enforcement. Back to you in studio.
The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office will be conducting an OVI sobriety checkpoint to keep everyone safe this St. Patrick's Day weekend. They're also going to have more patrols on our roadways looking for impaired drivers. Of course, we'll let you know where the checkpoint will be on Friday. And the man you see here, right here behind me, Kurt Griggs, has now been officially charged in connection to breaking in and vandalizing a Harrison Township building. The 44-year-old man of Carlisle is accused of throwing rocks, breaking antique stained glass windows, and damaging a vehicle. A grand jury indicted him today on 5 counts, including burglary, vandalism, and criminal damaging. Now, Griggs has been arrested more than 35 times in the past 2 decades. And a live look tonight at the Montgomery County Jail's website, where you can see Griggs is in custody. Bond has been set at $50,000. He's set to be arraigned on Thursday.
Well, tonight 5 people are dead, including children, after a school bus accident involving a semi in Illinois. Julia Rozier tells us what happened.
It was right here in Schuyler County where the school bus and the semi-truck collided just before noon. 3 children and 2 adults, including the driver of the school bus and the semi-truck, were killed. We want to warn you, the images from this crash site are disturbing. The crash happened just after 11:30 a.m. in Schuyler County on Route 24. The bus was carrying 3 children from the Schuyler Industry School District. ISP explained how the 2 vehicles collided.
Preliminary information indicates that the bus was traveling west on Route 24 and for an unknown reason crossed over into the eastbound lanes in front of the semi-truck. Both vehicles became engulfed in flames.
All victims were pronounced dead at the scene. The coroner will release his report when it's finished. Right now, Illinois State Police is leading the investigation. We still don't know the names or the ages of all 5 victims, but we'll continue to bring you more information as it becomes available. In Schuyler County, I'm Julia Rozier. Back to you.
Back here in the Miami Valley, a beautiful day outside. In fact, loved seeing that sunshine. It really felt like a spring day.
We got more on the way.
Nice,
Tomorrow,
nice.
more sunshine and getting a little warmer too. So not quite as chilly as we were today. It was nice to see the sun though. We got 40s across the area, 48 in Dayton, 47 in Troy, 45 Wapakoneta. Now compared to where we were, big improvement. We are a lot warmer compared to this time yesterday. 14 degrees warmer in Dayton, 13 degrees warmer up in Wapakoneta. And it's overall going to be a nice one for tomorrow. We're going to wake up in the upper 30s. So kids heading out to the bus stop will need a jacket, but keep in mind it's going to be a lot warmer than we were yesterday morning. Likely won't be dealing with any frost, maybe some of our northern counties as we drop a little bit cooler, but by the afternoon, mid 60s, sunshine, beautiful day. But coming up, I'm tracking that mild weather and our next chance for rain, so I'll time it out for you in just a bit.
Wapakoneta is one of the areas that will be in totality with that solar eclipse, so it expects tons of visitors there. Lydia Bai shares how law enforcement agencies are preparing for the large crowds way in advance.
Now, the Auglaize County Sheriff's Office has been preparing for the solar eclipse on April 8th for 2 years, and that's because they're expecting anywhere from 75 to 180,000 people. And that takes a lot of extra work and preparation behind the scenes to keep that many visitors safe. Now, with that many people also comes a lot of traffic.
A lot of this is lessons learned from the 2018 eclipse down in Kentucky and Tennessee areas and things of that nature, of how the major interstates became basically parking lots. And that's what our concern is, how we're going to keep the traffic flowing.
Now, there will be so many people here in Auglaize County that day that the Sheriff's Office is actually bringing in extra equipment to assist with emergencies like ultra-terrain vehicles, just in case they can't get their police cruisers through the thick traffic that might be here that day. And there are also concerns surrounding cell service, and Sheriff Voorhees told me that he's recommending anyone to use a landline if you have one available. Now, also on that day, the Auglaize County Sheriff's Office is having their command center right here in this building behind me, where they'll have a full staff of dispatchers ready to dispatch first responders to any sort of emergency. Back to you.
Well, we've been keeping you up to date on all things eclipse related on air and online. You can find all of our coverage right now at Dayton247now.com. Just look for the 2024 eclipse header. That is under the news tab.
Just into our newsroom tonight, former President Donald Trump is coming to Dayton this weekend. He's going to be at a rally Saturday for Bernie Moreno, the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. That's going to happen at the Wright Brothers Arrow in Vandalia, starting at noon. The address is right here. Now, Trump will begin speaking at 4 p.m. Moreno saying in part, quote, "President Trump is a transformational leader for America, and we are also excited to rally with him ahead of Tuesday's crucial election." Now, the contrast in this primary could not be clearer, and I'm confident Ohioans are ready to send President Trump, a true ally, to this U.S. Senate.
The city of Huber Heights held its State of the City address tonight, hosted by Mayor Jeff Gore. Now, he says it's a great opportunity to talk with residents about the city's different projects, economic growth, and successes it's seen so far this year.
The city is very healthy, and we're really doing the great work of the people here. Considering the growth that we've had based on our location and where we are in relation to I-70 and 75, people are going to want to come here, businesses are going to want to come here, and we have experienced a lot of growth. And we just want the people to know that the tax dollars they pay to live here in Huber Heights, for the amenities they have, that those dollars are really being put well to use for them.
It's just the second State of the City address to take place.
A statewide Amber Alert out of Westchester canceled this afternoon. What we know about the mother and child at the center of it and how they were found hundreds of miles away.
And President Biden says he has a new budget plan, how he says it would help families and homebuyers, plus who he wants to help foot the bill.
And beautiful weather in the forecast for the start of the week. I'll let you know how long that sticks around. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, thankfully, an Amber Alert ended today with a teen and her young daughter being found safe. Now, the two girls have been living temporarily in Westchester. Police say they left with the child's father, who's in custody tonight. Now, it's unclear what charges he'll face. James Pilcher is in Westchester with updates.
Yeah, police here in Westchester issued that Amber Alert about 10:30 in the morning for the 17-year-old girl and her 1-year-old daughter. They were found several hours later in the town where they had originally come from, but not before an intense police search. 17-year-old Mayole Herrera Toscano and her 1-year-old daughter Sarah Herrera were reported missing from their foster home at about 4:30 Monday morning. They were reported to be in the company of 22-year-old Bayron Tejeda, the child's father, and his last known address is also in Akron. Summit County's Child Services placed the two girls in a Butler County foster home under an emergency placement after an alleged domestic abuse incident sometime Saturday. And the alert issued by Westchester Police Monday stated Tejeda had a history of severe domestic abuse. Assistant Chief Brian Rebholz couldn't say if Tejeda was involved in the incident from this weekend, but said before the girls were found, the situation was potentially dangerous.
Now, due to the allegations of the domestic violence out of Akron, Ohio, and the emergency of placement by Summit County Foster Care Agency, we take this very seriously, as anybody would. Based on the circumstances out of Akron, I would say that, in my personal opinion, we want them back, and we want them back swiftly, and we want them back safely.
According to the 911 call from that foster home, Toscano contacted Tejeda with a tablet. That same caller also reported Toscano was from Honduras and did not speak any English. But police later found the girl and her daughter back in Akron Monday afternoon. Westchester police have not yet given us any more details on what is still an ongoing investigation.
Well, quiet weather across the Miami Valley, blue skies throughout the day. Now, of course, beautiful evening. We have a waxing crescent moon in the sky. I'm going to show you a picture of that coming up here in just a little bit. But right now we have mostly clear skies, southwesterly winds, a little bit of a breeze across the Miami Valley, and going to continue with high pressure, keeping things nice and quiet, at least for these next couple of days before our next weather maker moves in. So heading into the overnight hours, dropping into the upper 30s. We climb into the 60s tomorrow afternoon, mid 60s. Few more clouds for the second half of the day. Now by Wednesday, we start out 30s, 40s. Wednesday afternoon, thinking some upper 60s. We have a very small chance for a shower by our Wednesday afternoon, but it's not really until Thursday we start to see rain chances increase. And now models are indicating maybe some thunderstorms making their way in, with highs right around 70 degrees for our Thursday afternoon, as we do have a cold front that'll be making its way through the Miami Valley. So I'll have more on that and a look at our 7-day with some falling temperatures coming up.
Happening tomorrow, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base will be testing their emergency management notification system, and again on Wednesday as well. So this means anyone in the area, you may actually hear alarms or even the giant voice giving alerts and warnings. The base is making sure everyone is aware this is just a drill and not an emergency. If you have any questions, call the 88th Air Base Wing Public Affairs number. That number is right there on your screen.
President Biden calling for higher taxes on the wealthy to pay for lowering costs on daycare, healthcare, and housing. The White House says these new taxes will also help bring the national debt down by $3 trillion over the next decade. Additionally, the plan includes universal pre-K education, 12 weeks of paid family leave. The president says it's on the wealthy to, quote, pay their fair share on these investments.
Folks, look, I'm a capitalist. If you can make $1 billion, wonderful. Just pay your fair share, man. Not 8.2%. If you paid 25%, we'd have $500 billion more over the next 10 years.
Included in the president's budget is a proposal giving $10,000 to first-time homebuyers. It would also give a separate $10,000 to current homeowners who want to sell their starter house for a bigger home. The idea is to make more houses available on the market. Now, the president rolled out the proposal during remarks earlier today.
Because every family deserves a place to call home and a place to have your American dreams come true.
Now, these proposals have to be passed by Congress, of course, which is a tall task given Republican control of the House.
A U.S. ship with equipment to build a pier in Gaza is en route to the Mediterranean Sea. Now, the U.S. military says the General Frank S. Besson vessel left a base in Virginia on Saturday and was on its way to the eastern Mediterranean. This comes after President Biden announced the U.S. would set up a temporary pier in Gaza to help deliver humanitarian aid last week. Pentagon officials say it'll take weeks to get the pier operational.
Also, the U.S. State Department says the Israeli government has not presented the Biden administration with a humanitarian or military strategy for an operation in the southern city of Rafah. The State Department spokesman Matthew Miller notes Israel has committed to implementing such a plan.
They haven't just said that to us, they have said that publicly. We haven't seen such a plan yet. So I think before we either pass judgment on whether this is possible or whether any such plan is credible and can be implemented, and whether we talk about what we would do next, I think let's wait and see what it is that they come up with.
Israel has promised to increase its military action in Rafah despite concern for hundreds of thousands of displaced Gazans who have taken refuge there. The Biden administration has said it needs to see a credible humanitarian assistance plan in order to support the operation.
A central witness in the investigation of former President Donald Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago is breaking his silence. Brian Butler, referenced as Trump Employee 5 in the indictment, says he's talking now because he wants voters to hear the truth about his former boss and the case before the November election. Butler says he unknowingly helped move boxes of classified information from Mar-a-Lago to Trump's plane in June 2022. That's the same day Trump and his attorney were meeting with the DOJ at Trump's Florida home about the classified documents.
We got to the airport. I ended up loading all the luggage I had, and he had a bunch of boxes.
You noticed that he had boxes?
Oh, yeah. They were the boxes that were in the indictment, the white banker's boxes. That's what I remember loading.
And did you have any idea at the time that there was potentially U.S. national security secrets in those boxes?
No clue. No, I had no clue.
Butler worked at Mar-a-Lago as a valet and manager for 20 years, but left his job in the fall of 2022. That's several months after the FBI removed hundreds of government records from Mar-a-Lago. Trump has called the criminal case against him a, quote, witch hunt. Butler says that's not true.
Live look from our Eco Plumber Sky Cam now. It's the beginning of a beautiful stretch of weather we're going to experience. Let's check in with Natalie.
Well, a chilly evening out here in our Watson's weather patio. Overall, going to be a pretty chilly night. We got a little bit of a breeze, as you can see. So factoring in a little wind chill, it's going to feel like eventually the lower 30s overnight. But next several days, we got some mild weather at about 10 degrees from today to tomorrow. And that's what we have, 65 for our high temperature. And then we get back into the 70s on Thursday before cooler air returns. Heading into the weekend, highs will be in the mid 50s. But even chillier starting off next week. This is a Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook 6 to 10 days out. So heading into the start of next week, a cooler than normal trend does look pretty possible for our region. We will be tracking the potential for those below normal high temperatures starting off next week. So we'll enjoy some of this mild weather for now.
A 12-year-old boy found inside a Columbus Target store when it opened this morning. All the questions tonight on how he got there and where his parents are.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
New developments tonight in a strange story out of Columbus. A 12-year-old boy found inside a Target when the manager arrived this morning. Officers spent the day trying to learn more about the boy and how he ended up inside the store overnight. Kate Seifert brings us up to speed and asks some of those questions.
I think that that's completely crazy.
It's a crazy thing.
That's like stressful to know that that's like happening right nearby.
This is the Target where police say a 12-year-old boy was found by an employee Monday morning. They say it appears he stayed there alone all night long. A scenario people we met Monday say is shocking.
How did they didn't find him last time when they were trying to close the store? It's a negligence of the worker who worked there too.
I don't know what to say because that's up to them, the security people, to find people like that in their store.
I don't know, the last person who just closed the store should make sure that there is no one inside the store.
We've requested the 911 calls police received about this and the body camera video from when they arrived to this East Side Target just after 6 a.m. Monday. When they got there, police struggled to identify the young child because they say they could not find a missing person report related to this situation. But hours later, they learned the boy's parents did